Ed, what do you guys do with salespeople? Do you have attorneys? Do you have non-attorneys?
I meet most of my clients by giving presentations, right?
Oh, yeah?
I connect with, talking about seminars, right? So I do a lot of those. I connect with churches, but probably my biggest revenue source would be financial institutions like banks and credit unions, right? And so I'll go in with a marketing team, right? And all of this is resonating to me because I have found that if you say less and you don't answer the question, like, I don't want to be like tricky, but like, when you overeducate and you answer the question like too thoroughly at that beginning stage, it gives the impression to the prospective client that they're okay for a little bit and then they can delay, right? Because the fact of the matter is, and if we're just talking about estate plan, the vast majority of the country is not going to do it, like 70%, right? So when I go and do a presentation, my job is one thing and one thing only, is to convert some of those 70 people to come over to the side that actually will plan. So it's usually short and sweet. I'll take maybe like 3 questions and then I'll run the heck out of there, right? And then the marketing team, they get all of the contact information and then they do all of what we call pre-qualification, right? So an attorney actually doesn't come into the picture until we are paid, right? So a non-attorney takes care of all of the beginning phases. So there's a round of pre-qualification. They schedule on the QR code or they'll put their information old school on a paper. And then I have a non-attorney team pre-qualify all of them. And they will say the next step, you'll meet with a paralegal or legal assistant and you are expected to pay. Because they've listened to me and they kind of know exactly what I'm doing. There's no surprises, right?
Yeah.
If you have some assets, if you have a home, if you have minor children, you kind of need some kind of an estate plan, right? And so then the paralegal comes in, does maybe like 80% of the heavy lifting, and then the attorney comes in after that. The attorney only comes in if an engagement and some form of payment has been provided.
Okay, so they scan a QR code at a seminar, and then who's calling them from your team? You have an intake person?
A very skilled marketing sales professional.
Okay. And are they doing like a consult right then and there?
Well, they're asking him some questions, like, tell me a little bit about, what's your background, your assets, like, do you own a home? Do you have minor children? The things that would trigger why you would need an estate plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And keeping in mind that these people are educated already. They already listened to me for like 30, 40 minutes live or webinar.
Yeah. Okay.
So that
Webinar
job is
too.
kind of easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so at that point, the marketing person, they're gathering their information and then they're like, okay, you need, based on what you told me, you need X, Y, Z. Here's the fee.
And that fee has been discussed at the presentation.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah.
So no surprises.
Right. Okay. And so then they pay with them and then they're scheduled for a meeting with the paralegal.
They actually pay at that next meeting with the paralegal.
Okay. So they don't pay with the marketing person. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that usually done virtually or in person?
98% virtually, 2% in person.
Yeah. Okay.
I have an almost virtual practice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the only thing that's in person would be my legacy clients, right? I've been practicing like 17 years. And the people who come in are the spoiled clients that are used to hugging and touching and grabbing and coming, kind of thing. But I'd say even pre-pandemic, I'd say the last 6-7 years, majority of my clients are virtual, which my whole team loves. We have a pretty relaxed attire. We can work remotely, or at least I can. I'm traveling, working at the same time. But yeah, I'd say 98% remote, 2% in person.
Got it. Oh, so you do have an office?
Oh yes, I've got generally 2 offices, in different parts. Yeah. And that'd be reserved for like, the 78-year-old that needs an additional, helping hand to get the notarization done. Yeah. We use a lot of remote online notarization to accomplish the signings in my office.
Okay. I don't know much about that myself, but I've heard just like we have a remote online notary here. And we do it for some stuff, but there's been like some gripe about it with doing it for estate plans. You don't have any concern over it?
I've been doing it since the pandemic with no problems, and we've actually had, I don't know how many deaths we've had. We usually have at least 4 to 6 deaths a month. It just depends. We've had no issues. Every now and then I'll meet a colleague saying, "Oh, you can't do that with the deed." And there are some exceptions. We have 2, maybe 3 counties inside of California that want wet signatures. And so for that one deed, we'll pivot, no big deal. But for the rest, we'll use remote online notary.
So a lot of it is just kind of knowing which counties and all that stuff.
Yeah. Like there's a county near you, Matthew, right? It's a wet signature.
Yep, Sacramento County.
So and then San Mateo, I think you need wet signature, and then I believe also San Francisco. So just being aware. But it's part of the growing pains of learning, and we're human, we make mistakes, we apologize to our clients, but we've never had like a critical error using the remote platform.